Hey everybody, Aaron Blaze here. Welcome. It's Friday again, September 12th, and we've got a special treat today. So we are live. We're doing our usual Friday stream, and we have a special guest. We have Terryl Whitlatch, my wonderful friend from many years ago. Terryl Whitlatch, a wonderful creature designer. If you know creature design, then you know Terryl. And we are so lucky to have her join us today and actually be part of the Creature Art Teacher family moving forward. And say hi, Terryl.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here and do a little bit of fun drawing and messing up and having fun talking and drawing.
Yeah, so I thought it would be a lot of fun to have Terryl on today, and we're working in Magma. And we're just going to sit here and doodle together, and we'll talk about creature design and animal drawing and her upcoming virtual 2-day class that we're going to be doing on the 27th and 28th and all kinds of fun stuff. We'll talk about our backgrounds, your background. But before we get into that real quick, I just want to throw it over to, like we always do, I'll throw it over to Nick to talk a little bit about some of the things that we have going on over at creatureartteacher.com.
Yes, so as Aaron mentioned, we've got a bunch of stuff going on. First and foremost, September 27th and 28th, the one and only Terryl Whitlatch, who's joining us here, is going to have a 2-day workshop on drawing prehistoric beasts. She'll tell you more about it, but if you want to purchase a ticket, spots are limited. You can go to creatureartteacher.com/live and learn all about it. That's September 27th and 28th. Speaking of live events, our one and only Aaron Blaze has an upcoming animation workshop called The Living Line. It's his intermediate workshop. There are only 2 spots left.
Only 2.
Only 2 left. Go to creatureartteacher.com/live and learn about those. That's a 4-person in-day workshop in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, in person. That's November 13th.
Yes.
November 13th through the 17th.
Yep.
Yeah.
So go to creatureartteacher.com/live and learn all about that. And then aside from boot camps, this weekend we've got some great stuff going on over at the website. We are running one of our biggest sales of the year. Buy one, get one, 50% off any course, photo pack, or brush set this weekend. No code necessary. You just add 2 items to your cart and you're going to get 50% off of one of them automatically. And then today we just posted some new original drawings from Aaron Blaze. There's some
Aaron Blaze, who's that guy?
Nala drawings up there, some really cool colored pencil drawings. We've got those up on the website. And then I know there was one other thing my brain just
there's books.
Yes, and this weekend you can get free shipping on Aaron's signed art books if you use promo code USA Books. But that is enough blathering from me. I'm going to turn it over to
Terryl
Whitlatch.
Hi.
So
Hello.
we are here to draw. We are here to sit and draw and talk about animals. One of my favorite subjects, and I know it's your favorite subject, Terryl. And just to get people up to speed that might not know who you are, can you talk a little bit about you and your background and all that kind of stuff?
Sure. Well, let's see. Again, my name is Terryl Whitlatch, and I am an animal artist and a creature designer. And I guess by creature, I guess that means imaginary animals. And I've done primarily for the entertainment industry. Although I started out with the ambition of being a scientific illustrator, and actually I do a fair amount of scientific illustration, so I've actually been able to live in both worlds, and that has been very, very nice. When I was little, I wanted to be an illustrator for National Geographic and do design exhibits for the Smithsonian and reconstruct prehistoric animals. I saw at a very early age Disney's Fantasia, where there was a whole, rite of spring sequence with the
Yes.
dinosaurs. But even before that, though, I saw images of the wonderful murals that paleo artist J.M. Maternis did for the Smithsonian Institution. I didn't actually see them in person, but I saw reproductions of them in a Time Life book on North America. And I was like 4 years old, and my gosh, I said, that is exactly what I want to do. And I haven't looked back since. And that's, I think, to be able to do that is where I really want to know how animals were put together so I could reconstruct those ancient life forms in the way that, he has been able to do for so many years and so beautifully. I believe that he's still living and that he actually has a new book out himself of
Oh, wow.
his art. Yeah. So anyway, that love of drawing real animals, because real animals are the key to drawing prehistoric animals, really fueled my interest in understanding animal anatomy, and of course by extension human anatomy, because human beings are obviously animals as well. But anyway, so that is how that started, but that's a useful skill because I was hired by Lucasfilm right out of school, even before I graduated from art school, because I had what they needed, and that was the knowledge of anatomy. And when you have that knowledge, then you can invent, play with it, and animate it, because in animation you have to have some sort of structure to move around.
Yes, exactly.
And so yeah. And so that is really how that started, and I am very happy to share whatever I know with y'all, with everybody, with all of you, and I have no secrets whatsoever in how I draw. I just draw nature, and then I extrapolate from nature. Like I create characters. I can draw in a very, whatever style or aesthetic is needed for a production. I can do, because I have that anchor in nature.
Yes.
So once you have those anchors, then
One of the things
it can be as abstract.
I was going to tell people that you and I, we first met when we brought you on for Brother Bear. And that's where you and I first met, way back, I think it was 2001 or 2 that we first met.
Yes.
And and it was just like it was this match made in heaven, because I was making Brother Bear because I love animal films and I love animal drawing, and here comes this master artist that you are, and we were just like two peas in a pod, and we just had so much fun sitting in that story room for, I don't know, I think you were there for a week, something like that.
I was.
Yeah.
I remember not wanting to go home.
It was great. And you created some really great packets that I still see floating around online here and there. The bears and the moose and the ground squirrels and some of the other creatures, and it was really cool.
Uh-huh.
So do you do consultations like that still?
Yeah, I do. I'm very happy to. Again, animals, it's for many people, they can be somewhat of a mystery, because they think they're so different from human beings. They're really not. I mean, that is backboned animals. If you're talking about invertebrate animals, then that's.
Then we get into like aliens. That's it. Yeah, because I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah, one of the interesting things I was just going to just throw in there really quick is we've got such a diverse life on Earth is so diverse. I think people forget, because I think they think about backboned animals, like you're saying, but when you start thinking about aliens and alien life and things like that, there's not a whole lot that you can create, in my mind, that is that different from something on Earth that's already existing somewhere, whether it's in the deep ocean or microscopic or something. You know what I mean?
I do. And, all the creatures that I've ever worked for on sci-fi productions, Star Wars is a case in point, they all have their origins in reality, and which is what, George wanted really for all aspects of his films, because he needed people to be able to identify and relate to them, whether it was a vehicle or a creature.
Right.
And otherwise, if a film becomes incomprehensible and lacks interest, and you see, this in Star Trek today. Any creature that's built for Star Trek is very, very reminiscent of what already exists here on planet Earth.
Well, speaking of aliens, I know a lot of people in our audience might know you for some of your work, even if they don't know they know you for it. For instance, you've designed so many famous Star Wars creatures and animals over the years. One of my all-time favorites is Sebulba, because I always loved.
Oh yeah.
I always loved how he walked around on his hands and had his feet kind of up in the air, and that must have been an interesting challenge to figure out the mechanics of that.
It was. Yeah, that was something, because basically what George gave me was that idea. This is a mean little guy who walks on his hands and drives with his feet, and he is ruthless. He's not very nice. He's crabby all the time. He's got, all he cares about is winning, and he doesn't care if anybody else, dies in the process. He doesn't care. And so that was all that George Lucas gave me. And so, I was thinking of pondering this character, and that weekend, I took myself to the Oakland California Zoo, walking around, looking at the various animals, just to free up my brain and get some brain space. And so lo and behold, I found myself in front of the camel paddock, great big camel paddock it was basically a hillside. They had lots and lots of space in which to play, those camels. And one of them came very close to me. He was a big old dromedary. This is a one-humped camel.
Yeah. And
camels, whether they're two-humped or one-humped, they are very large and impressive animals, very tall. They walk around with quite the attitude and such. They seem very proud and arrogant. Anyway, looking at this very proud, aloof-looking creature in front of me, I had an idea, because I was looking at its face, and I was thinking, obviously it can't help its expression to a certain extent, and its anatomical facial structure. But I thought to myself, if I can capture that attitude in this little mean guy, but make him kind of funny, I will do so. So I had that camel's face in my mind when I went back to the ranch where Star Wars art department was housed. And I went ahead and just started drawing. I just kind of started out with a camel-y idea and face, and finished this drawing of this weird little skinny guy that afternoon. And which was basically when George was going to, no, yeah, I finished it that afternoon, and then I worked on some other stuff for the rest of the week. Generally, on Fridays is when we would have our meetings with George Lucas, and he would come up to the ranch and review our work. And he did, and so I posted my Sawalba drawing there, and I had a bunch of other stuff as well. And so he looks at it, and my gosh, he had his little, always had 3 stamps. One said, well, he reduced it down to two. There were 2 rubber stamps. One was good. If it said good, that meant you might have you head in the right direction. He liked what was going on. Maybe you would have a chance of it possibly being in the movie. But if you got the Fabuloso stamp, then it was going to be definitely in a movie. And those are rare. Those are rare because usually most of those characters, they took a lot of time. And well, he looked at it and he said, "That's it." And he took out his Fabuloso stamp and he put and marked Fabuloso on it. I could not believe it. I was like so happy. Yeah, because like Jar Jar Binks took 1.5 years of development.
Well, I was just going to say that
to give you some comparison.
Another famous character that you're famous for, obviously, is Jar Jar. And I was, people take it for granted now, but at the time, that was such a revolutionary thing to have a full CGI character interacting with people. And I imagine that the back and forth on that design must have been incredible, because there was both the science of it as an artist, but also the practicality of it. They had to have somebody act it out, right, and film it, and all that technology was being invented at the same time. And I imagine that was an interesting process to go through.
Yes, it was. He's at the get-go, he said it's going to be a tall, gangly, amphibious character. It's not going to be a person in a suit. It's going to be a totally realized digital character. And he said, well, it's probably personality-wise and combination of Charles Chaplin and Danny Kaye and kind of famous comedians. And so, okay. And so I did a lot of designs of tall, skinny, alien, amphibious type creatures. Jar Jar looked like many different animals at any one time, from seahorses to, duck-billed dinosaurs. He kind of always retained a little bit of duck-billed dinosaur.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's interesting. You're right.
Yeah. But so he just took a while, and for a long time he didn't have those ears. And that was something that actually George invented, was let's put some long droopy ears on him, kind of like a dog, so that when he reacts, they can kind of wrap around his head and give maybe some comic relief or something like that.
Yeah, that definitely added to the comic, his comic relief for sure in those years. We have a couple questions that have come in from viewers. Do you mind if I ask some of them? Aaron, I'm sure you've got stuff you want to ask too.
No, go for it.
So one is Erica, who's watching, and she wants to know if there's any updates on when your Flying Monsters Illustrating Wings Vertebrae book is going to be released.
Oh, yes. It is being laid out as we speak. It's at the publisher, Design Studio Press. They are laying it out. All the illustration is done. All the writing is done. So I am hoping it'll be out by Christmas time. And if that's my personal hope. But I've been done working on that since I think I wrapped the last final illustrations. I wrapped up in May, and then sent it on to Tinty at Design Studio Press, and they've got it right now, and from what I understand, good progress is being made on it. So it'll be soon. It's actually happening. It's actually a thing. It's
Fantastic. And then Silver
Yeah.
Fox, speaking of books, Silver Fox on YouTube asks, did you ever get to illustrate the Aesop's Tales book that you wanted to do a few years ago? Have you done any of the Aesop's Fables?
Oh, no, I never got to do that. No. I would love to do that someday. There's so many things I think that all of us would like to do, and there's only so much time, and unfortunately our lives are so short. I wish that
I've got a list 10 miles long that I want to do that I know I'll never be able to complete, which is, I mean, that's the story of an artist, right?
it is.
I've been talking to Aaron about animating some of the Aesop's Fables, so maybe there's a team up here to be had.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Aaron, do you have a favorite Aesop's fable or fables?
No, I don't. I can't think of any off the top of my head. To be honest with you, I'm not familiar with them enough to know what. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to figure out this lighting. What, which are which? You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I sort of myself, I like the fox and the grapes a lot. I think that's a funny one. And then there's the fox and the crow.
The tortoise and the hare, of course.
There's a good number of them.
I've drawn the tortoise and the hare a few times, and that was always fun to do. But
Yeah.
I always remember as a kid really liking the lion and the mouse. That's when the mouse helps the lion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're trying to figure out lighting right now. I'm trying to figure out the anatomy of this hind leg in this perspective on this particular prehistoric beast.
Oh, the goose I didn't know the goose that laid the golden egg was considered one. That's interesting.
Yeah, the saber-tooth designs actually reminded me of, there's I think it was like a saber-tooth inspired creature from Naboo from the Creatures of Star Wars book back in the day. I'm pretty sure
yeah.
from Naboo. But that's why I'm getting a lot of flashbacks of it from that design.
This particular, and obviously it's kind of anthropomorphized, this particular creature is actually the marsupial's answer to the saber-toothed cat. It's called a Thylicus nihilus.
I love it. Look at that lower jaw.
Funny. Yeah, it's got these phalanges on the lower jaw. And its hind feet are a lot shorter than a feline's.
Whoops.
And of course, I was automatically drawing feline proportions, saying that's not right. And there's a little bit of differences here. I have these front legs look to me more like your typical canines, and there's some subtle differences, but we're doodling here. I don't have to be exactly perfect. So now, if I was doing this for the Smithsonian or National Geographic, yeah, I would be definitely taking a lot more time, and I would be getting those proportions right. Like the forelegs in the prehistoric Thylicus nihilus are a lot shorter.
It looks great.
Speaking of National Geographic, Natalie has a question for both of you. What advice do you have for building a strong portfolio that gets noticed by companies like Disney, Lucasfilm, National Geographic, etc.? Do these companies ever work with artists remotely?
I would imagine they do.
Well, I know they
Yeah.
they do because they do freelance, right?
Yeah.
So, but what about
Nowadays.
portfolio guidance, would you say, from both of you? Any tips?
Well, National Geographic and Disney are two different things, for one thing. But, for National Geographic, first of all, I think National Geographic freelances
Yes,
more than, I'm trying to figure
I think they
out.
always have.
Yeah. Trying to get rid of my lasso. I forget how I just did that. Sorry. I'll let you.
The joys of magma.
Command D does it on Photoshop. It's
Command
very
D.
good. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
If I may ask one more question.
Well, actually, we didn't finish it. We didn't finish this one. So,
Oh, sorry.
as far as like Disney, you know, it depends on what you're submitting for. So, if you're submitting for animation, obviously you want to have a lot of animation in there, and you want it to be, you know, a good selection of strong acting and entertainment. And you know, if you're looking for comedy, then you want it to be that. And then also be aware of the style of the studio that you're submitting to. So, for instance, if you're submitting to Disney, you don't want a whole bunch of Family Guy stuff in there, you know, or you know, and vice versa. So it's all, you know, it's having the best work in there. Weight it towards the front. You know, you want your work to, you want your best work to make the first impression, and yeah, and then you know, it's like anything else. You're in there competing with everyone else, so you want strong work right from the get-go.
I have a quick question. Is that my brush suddenly quit? I'm not on the eraser.
Oh, it looks like.
Oh wait, I see. Here mine. I found right here. Okay, my bad.
Terrell and I are.
I think I actually.
Neither one of us has used Magma in a while, so we're just having some fun exploring. For those of you that are
Drawing live in front of
drawing live, so you guys get to see the struggle. The struggle is real.
What was Terryl like to work with on Brother Bear, Aaron?
She was terrible. She was terrible. She was terrible. No,
That's true.
it was. We had so much fun, and all the other animal artists in the studio, and there's a few of them, had to come up and you know and hang out, and it was great. We really had a good time.
We did. We absolutely did. I have such great memories from my time spent at Disney Orlando. I sure wish that studio was still extant.
I know.
That was so cool.
Yeah, we all were very sad when it went down, for sure.
We just have to start our own.
Yeah.
May I ask one more question?
Sure.
So beyond Star Wars, know that you worked on James Cameron's Avatar.
Nope.
No, didn't?
Nope.
I thought you did.
Nope. We thought she did too.
I did not do that.
I thought you did.
I know Neville. I know Neville Page. He's a friend of mine. He worked on it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I must have mixed it all up. My mistake.
I wish I worked on Avatar.
Yeah.
Well, there's two more. You should be able to get in there at this point, right?
Oh, I don't know. I think I'd rather work with Aaron and Nick.
Okay, there you go.
I'm with you 100%.
I know what's important.
Speaking of
It's
Terryl,
interesting.
speaking of Terryl and her, you know, she literally wrote. Let's go to the full screen.
Yeah.
Multiple books on creature design. We've talked about these before. I'll let you show them here, Aaron, if you want. One of these you wrote a forward to, but
So we've got Terrell's, this one here, on the principles of creature design, right here.
and I'll post a link to where you can
Boom,
get
boom,
all
boom.
these at Design Studio Press in the.
And then the science of creature design, which is a lot of young artists that want to do creatures, they don't think about the science behind it. So I thought maybe we could talk about that a little bit too. And then there's also
yes.
Animals Real and Imagined, which is another amazing book by Terryl. These are all really beautifully printed books, nice and big and fun to go through. For those of us that like to go through and look at pictures, they're just amazing. And so much of what you do, Terryl, is based in hard science, right? And
Yes.
a lot of young artists, they want to create creatures, and it's fun to sit down and just draw, random made up stuff, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you want to have stuff that's believable and lives in a world, you want to start thinking about, the evolution of that creature. How, what's the environment? How did it evolve? How does it fit into that environment? What are the adaptations that creature has? And I know you think about that
Absolutely.
all the time, Terryl. And I was wondering if
Yes.
you wanted to
Yeah,
talk
I
about
do.
that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. If nature is your treasure box and your toolbox, and the best teacher ever, your tiger will be the best teacher to draw to teach you how to draw tigers. For example, we can go ahead, we can draw, a dragon or something, or a total made up creature. And of course, our grandmother will love it and put it on her refrigerator. And you think, oh, that's pretty darn cool. Yeah. And yeah, but the thing is that imaginary creature, unless it's, well, let's say a very literal creature like a unicorn, which is, you better darn know how to draw horses if you like to draw unicorns.
Yes.
Yes. But if it's like, this is my creature from the planet Zoid, well, that's great. But there aren't any peers in nature here on Earth to compare it to. However, if you are drawing a tiger, guess what? A tiger will always tell you how well or how poorly your tiger is that you're drawing. It's evident right off the bat. And so drawing real animals is a lot harder than drawing purely imaginary creatures. But once you do have an understanding of drawing actual animals and you've honed your observational skills, then if you're working on realistic sci-fi productions like Star Wars or Star Trek or Avatar for that matter, then you can work a lot faster with a lot better results. And the results are more believable. Your audience accepts it. Your audience will suspend its disbelief of something that's fanciful. The audience will accept your creature as real, and then it doesn't get distracting. Your creatures will not distract in the story where the audience is saying there's something not right about that creature, and they don't pay attention to the rest of the movie because they're just trying to figure out the creature because it looks so weird. And so you want storytelling to be seamless, and that is where being able to design creatures that look like they could actually live. They could go to the zoo on Zoid and actually pet that. That's the difference, and that's where it's so important. And that carries over into very exaggerated, let's say Pixar Incredibles, The Incredibles type exaggeration. So even though that's a very stylized aesthetic, yet it has legs because it's anchored in reality. It's anchored in reality. Even, let's say the Flintstones, Dino the dinosaur in the Flintstones.
Dino.
He was believable because, after all, he was anchored in reality. He was modeled on real dinosaurs. I mean, he's obviously highly exaggerated, but he was modeled on what went before him in real life. And so that's where the rubber meets the road. Now, you can get to extremes where if you go any further, your design will actually break.
Yes.
And that would be if Bugs Bunny went to one more extreme, he would cease to look like a rabbit because he's about as extreme as you can get, probably with exaggerating rabbits. Mickey Mouse would be another case in point. He's barely a recognizable mouse. It helps that his last name is Mouse.
Right.
My favorite rabbit.
I'm not saying against Mickey Mouse's design at all. I'm just saying that there are limits to how far you can actually stylize a creature before it breaks.
Wasn't Mickey designed around a quarter and 2 dimes?
Yes.
Is that what they always say?
Yeah, it was a quarter and 2 dimes.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, gosh. A question for Terrell from Flavio Dalpino. I'd like to ask Terrell, what was the trickiest creature she has ever created or drew? The trickiest creature.
You're talking to me?
Yes.
My trickiest creature?
Yes.
Oh. Well, Sebulba was tricky in that once I designed him, George wanted me to animate him. Like, okay, Terrell, I really like this design. How does he actually get into the pod racer? And, well, what did they do? They brought up they managed to scrounge up one of those lovely animation tables that Aaron had, like what Aaron has. And I was able to go ahead and figure it out and do a bunch of hand-drawn animation.
Oh, did you really? That's
And
cool.
that's-
I didn't know that.
Yep, I did. Yeah, they had me do that and to figure out how he moved and everything before they sent that over to Industrial Light and Magic because, ILM was going to have to animate it, but they had to have some idea of how he was going to move around. The same thing actually was with Jar Jar. I had to animate a walk cycle and how he was going to walk. So my idea with Sebulba was something that kind of was sort of spidery. I mean, he wasn't moving like a spider, but gave the impression. And with Jar Jar, I looked at ostriches because Jar Jar has very short thighs, and so one of the things that makes him kind of alien is that he's got a lot of bird and the way birds move,
Oh,
the way
really?
chickens move.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, so it just kind of added in some more alien stuff. I ran out of room here. I'm doing this character.
I'm taking over half the thing.
Yeah, Aaron.
I know.
Quit hogging the canvas.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I like your dog reacting to her.
Yeah, he's trying to check him out.
I like him too.
Did you work on any of the sequels, the Star Wars sequels after Phantom Menace? Did you?
Oh, a little bit of the second one.
Attack of the Clones?
I think I was starting Brother Bear about that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically, I think what happened is, I designed and designed. I designed so many creatures that they had an overflow. And there wasn't that much creature work left to do. Because some of those creatures that you see in episode 2, we actually designed for episode 1, and they stuck them in episode 2.
Right. That makes
So,
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
And like the flying, yeah, those flying whales and stuff, those are actually designed for episode 1.
yeah, because there was a ton of world building in those projects just to get them off the ground, right?
Yes, indeed.
So much stuff had to
Yes,
be.
indeed. Yeah. A lot. And to this day, even the ones that didn't make it into any of the prequels, guess where they started using them? Then they started putting them in Clone Wars.
Oh,
So a lot
really?
of the creatures
yeah.
that you see in the prequels, yeah, they ended up in the Clone Wars. And no, I didn't get royalties,
Yeah, unfortunately.
but it was
not.
nice to see them being used. So
Well, and now that stuff still pops up, right? Because you've got this shows now on Disney Plus and all that stuff. So
yes, yeah, I see some of my old designs back from the prequels making their first appearance on the new Star Wars stuff coming out. So there's a certain sense of, gratification. It's that, gosh, that design I did like 30 years ago. My gosh, and there it is.
Wow, that's cool.
did you ever get to read?
Yeah.
Speaking of Star Wars and design, did you ever get to meet Ralph McQuarrie?
No, sadly, he had. Wait, I actually did. He was very old by then and in very poor health. He did come to a very, very brief appearance in the Star Wars art department. And I think after that, sadly, he passed away.
Yeah, I think he passed
So
in
that was-
2010 or 12 or somewhere around there. Yeah, I was just curious because, so much of the original trilogy he designed. I was curious if, obviously you had to pull reference from that to make it feel like it was in the same universe.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, when I did the wildlife of Star Wars, a lot of the concept art that he did, and a lot of the creatures that he actually designed to appear in the original trilogy, starting in 1977. Well, I put those into my book, The Wildlife of Star Wars, and reinterpreted them.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, especially the creatures for Dagobah. And of course, Ralph McQuarrie had a lot to do with inventing the design of the Banthas, for example.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of
those were Ralph McQuarrie.
Speaking of designs, this is
I
going
figured
back,
out the anatomy, but yeah.
going back to
And
the
then
Bugs
Phil
Bunny.
Tippett.
Going back to the Bugs Bunny comment, somebody says my favorite rabbit design is Roger Rabbit. That's a pretty.
Yeah, talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
pushed. Talk about pushed. Yeah.
Mine's Harvey.
Whoop.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. I just completely lost my screen there for a second.
Yeah, but talking about going back to Dagobah real quick, I do remember one design in the book where it was these spider-looking creatures that would when they birth they just walk around, but then once they find a spot they start like they dig their mouth into the ground and they just sit there and they grab nutrients from the earth from the planet and
Yeah.
they turn into trees. These spiders turn into trees.
That's right.
And I thought it was
Spider
pretty cool.
trees.
So seeing the backgrounds of Dagobah in the movies, you're like, oh, those are all just dead spiders.
For people just joining us, I want to let people know that obviously we have a special guest today, Terryl Whitlatch, who is a legendary animal artist and creature designer, having worked on Star Wars, Brother Bear, tons of films and projects and books over the years. And she is going to be doing a live 2-day workshop on our website, Creature Art Teacher, on September 27th and 28th. You can learn more. Spots are limited. Go to creatureartteacher.com/live. It's a 2-day event. Terryl, do you want to talk a little bit about what sorts of things you're going to be teaching and they're going to be learning during that event?
Sure. Let me just get out of this transform tool. For some reason, there we go. Yeah. So on the 2-day workshop coming up at the end of this month, I am going to be talking about and demonstrating, drawing, reconstructing prehistoric animals. And in this case, it's going to be this pretty interesting prehistoric mammal, which is called a calicotherium, basically. It's one of a group of animals that are related to horses and rhinoceroses and tapirs. But it doesn't have any hooves. It has these big old claws, like a ground sloth, a giant ground sloth, but it's related to horses and rhinoceroses. And so it's like how the key to reconstructing prehistoric mammals or dinosaurs is looking at what their living relatives look like and how they're constructed, their anatomies. And so we're going to be talking about not only this very bizarre and very interesting and very funny looking and very large beast, but its relatives. So we're going to get a little bit of, horse anatomy thrown in and some rhinoceros anatomy and talk about those types of animals, because those animals are all related to one another, believe it or not. You think of, horses being so graceful and beautiful and fast, and they are, but they're also related to a much more bulkier animal, almost a prehistoric looking animal, the rhinoceros. And then the tapirs are even a more ancient group. They are almost like a stem basal group for that animal. And yeah, so we're going to really get into the biology, and of course I'll be drawing the entire time, but we're going to learn a lot of interesting facts along the way. And science is so interesting, and animals have so much to teach us, and so that is what the workshop basically is going to be about.
I'm so excited for it. It's going to be, and I know everyone else is too. We've been getting a lot of great feedback, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
I'm just having fun
Thanks.
drawing dinosaurs.
I'm excited. I've been prepping for it. I've been drawing calycotheriums. In fact, I've been drawing calycotherium skeletons and the musculature. And I was working on some of the surface anatomy today, just to make sure I'm all set and have good materials to share with all of you.
Yes. There we go. Looks like you got a gnu, a wildebeest going on there.
I do. I think I love these animals. They're just already so funny looking.
We love.
It's like having a.
Go ahead.
Oh, to me, wildebeests are like having the front end of a buffalo with the body of a skinny horse, and then they're so fun to watch because they cavort and buck. They make funny noises. I'm just very entertained by looking at wildebeests, and whenever I've gone to the Wild Animal Park in San Diego, I just love watching them run around and play, and it's fun.
Have you ever been able to go to Africa or anything like that?
No, I have not been so fortunate. Not yet. I would like to.
I would
though.
love to see. I would love to go to Africa with you sometime.
It's amazing.
Let's make it happen.
Oh,
Terryl
Make it
Whitlatch and Aaron Blaze teaching animal drawing in Africa.
We got to get Mr.
Manny
Manny Carrasco and the whole gang and Terryl and it would
yes.
boy, that would be fun.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic out there.
Arturo on Facebook asks, Terryl, have you watched Walking with Beasts? It features Kylotheris, and it's a really great prehistoric documentary.
Yes, I have watched Walking with Prehistoric Beasts, and the latest. I worked on the upcoming third season, as a matter of fact. I was fortunate to
Of course you did.
work on.
That's
So
awesome.
I can't say what I worked on because I signed non-disclosure. And I don't want a Tyrannosaurus to come and eat me in the middle of the night if I say anything.
Of course not.
But that would be bad.
Let
Let me just say, I worked on a prehistoric animal. How about that? I think that's safe.
Yeah, I think it's in the title of the show, so I think you're good there, right?
That's true.
I've got two questions from members. One is from Martin. He's asking, he's really looking forward to your workshop, and are there any tips about materials that they should prepare for the workshop, like traditional materials, or how they should prepare?
Well, you could gather references of rhinoceroses or horses or tapirs if you like. As far as drawing materials, whatever you like. Often good old-fashioned tracing paper is good because when you're doing reconstruction, you're working in layers, whether it's digital layers or more commonly actually tracing paper layers or something about the texture, particularly texture of canson tracing paper, which can give a really nice texture. I'm not sure why that is, but it just seems to be. and needed erasers are good because you can just blot your lines and make them lighter, and they without spreading. Those are what I would recommend. Whatever pencil you like would be, is fine. So,
And
yeah.
I think for those people that draw digitally, they can follow along digitally as well. In fact, I think we might
Sure.
bounce back and forth with you a little bit, right? And we talked about that at one point. I'm not sure what you ultimately decided on there. Are you going to do traditional the
Yeah.
whole time or both?
Yeah, I do both. Typically what I do is a combination of the two. Yeah. I usually will start out traditionally, uh, just because it's such a visceral, immediate feeling. And there's also the added side benefit of what we call chaos factor, which AI doesn't like that too much because it's not predictable. And it kind of preserves what's special about an artist's, I don't know, personal signature, I guess you would have to say. But yeah, I like working in Photoshop as far as a digital application goes, simply because to me it feels more like working traditionally than, say, a different app. I mean, it's what you are most comfortable with. That's the one I'm most comfortable with, maybe because it's the one I learned early on. So
Yeah, I'm the same. There's so much out there, but yeah, I gotta have my Photoshop.
yeah, and plus you can draw big,
Yeah,
and that's nice. I've played around with the tablets and with Procreate and stuff, but I find myself, and this is just me personally, we all have our preferences. I can't zoom in enough to get to the details.
yeah, I'm the same
And
way. Well,
then-
I just struggle with touch-based screens as well.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
my old.
So,
I'm set in my ways.
well, it's whatever works for us, and for you guys, I have your own preference. I will say though that professionally, Photoshop is still the industry standard, so it's important to have that under your belt.
It is, and we get that question a lot actually, because so many younger artists are using, tablet, like Procreate, which is great. It's just that it's not often used. It's not often used professionally.
Yeah, yeah. It has limited, at least at this point in time, file size. You wouldn't want to design a mural in Procreate, for example.
Yeah.
Wolfie on YouTube asked,
Wolfie, hey Wolfie.
for those of us who feel that image search can't always be trusted anymore given the current state of things, I think they're referring to all the AI images, what are some good reference books for animal drawings to look out for?
Oh, okay. Well, as far as animal anatomy goes, I would, always have a copy of the tried and true Ellenberger book, Atlas of Anatomy, Animal Anatomy for Artists. It's published by Dover. It's been around since the turn of the 20th century, and it has wonderful anatomy of lions and horses and dogs,
Yeah.
your basic mammals. The other one that I really like is Elliot Goldfinger's book. It has a similar title, and he has adapted a lot of those Ellenberger drawings into a very straightforward manner, easy, accessible. And he's also added additional more exotic animals like rhinoceroses and giraffes and such. So those two books I would say are musts to have in your bookshelf.
Who was the author on the second one?
Goldfinger.
Okay.
L.A. Goldfinger. and Godfinger. And I had the good fortune to meet him. And he is the nicest person. He also has an anatomy book on human anatomy too.
Oh, cool.
I'm posting links to those books in the comments for people, so I was just making sure I had the spellings correctly.
As far as visual, just references with photographs of animals, good ones. The Dorling Kindersley books, the DK series eyewitness books that were initially published for children are wonderful as far as photo reference. So that would be DK eyewitness books, and there's a whole series on different topics, but a lot of them on animals.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, this is coming along. This is fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
What's your personal favorite traditional drawing medium?
My favorite traditional drawing of another artist?
No, just your favorite tool. Like, what's your favorite medium?
Oh. Well, gee. For just designing, I like hands-on tracing paper and HB mechanical pencil. I don't know. It's sort of like when I'm drawing on tracing paper. I don't feel precious about goofing up, and I find I'm able to design a lot more freely. I like that. If I had more time, as far as color work goes, if traditional, I really liked acrylic painting. Acrylics are lovely, but they're also very forgiving.
Yeah.
And they have a short drying time.
I love acrylics. I hardly ever use them, but I really love them.
Twitch question came in. Hey, Aaron and Terryl, I have a question on gesture drawing. I've never managed to get a good grasp of them. Plus, I generally have difficulties getting my shapes to work together in all of my drawings. I recently realized that I've never drawn on a paper format bigger than A4. How important is paper and tablet size in learning gesture drawing?
Oh.
Well, I like to draw big gestures. I like to draw when I'm doing gestures. And matter of fact, I'm going to be teaching some animal drawing this week in Colorado, and I like to work on a fairly large.
Go full screen.
Yeah, I like to work on big. I'm not bringing this with me because I can't fit in my suitcase, but I like to work big. And when I go to the zoo, I like to bring big newsprint with me, and just so I can get that those big sweeping gestures. It's fun to draw like that. It's fun to draw big, and so when I start getting into little tablets, you can draw like we're doing now. We're doing fairly tight little gestures, but the bigger I can go, the more happy I am, personally. Yes.
Yeah. I would agree, because you can move your entire arm.
Yes.
That's important. I just remember my days, doing life drawing and having a large drawing board resting on, either the back of a drawing chair or drawing bench, I should say, or such. And it was like we had these 18 by 24 minimum pads of newsprint to draw the human figure, and just being able to move your entire shoulder and arm was really wonderful. And because you're feeling the rhythms of the body through your whole body.
Exactly.
And yeah.
Arturo follows up with Terrell. What group of dinosaurs would you consider to be your favorite? They're personally drawn to theropods, especially Tyrannosaurus.
Okay, well, I tend to be drawn to some of the ones that are. I like the theropods, the bird theropods a lot. The ones that are like the dromaeosaurs, the ones that have feathers that we're pretty sure they have feathers, and there's a certain grace and intelligence to them. On the other hand, within the theropods, I enjoy the carnotauruses because they're so funny.
Yeah.
They're like their little pug, they're pug faces,
Yeah.
and the tiny little short
They're
arms.
tiny little arms, exactly.
Yeah, I think which is one reason why there is a Carnotaurus on the cover of my book, Animals Real and Imagined, because I just like those.
As a kid, my favorite was always a Triceratops.
Yeah.
Mine's a Stegosaurus.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I think that
Stegosaurus.
Triceratops.
They were fossils by the time Tyrannosaurus came along.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, we live closer to a Tyrannosaurus than a Tyrannosaurus does to a Stegosaurus.
Oh, really?
Which is crazy, right?
That's pretty cool, actually, to think about.
You know, I just recently learned that a day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
That's kind of weird.
Wow.
A day on Venus is so a day.
So
on
the
Venus
rotation
is more-
of the planet is slower than its trip around the sun.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Just
That's
weird to wrap your
absolutely
head
amazing.
around. Like, what?
It is.
Trying to wrap your head of it wrapping around the sun. Do you think the T-Rex had feathers? Asks Martin.
That one's for you, Terrell.
I don't know if she heard it.
Well,
They're
The
asking,
question
do
about
you
the
think
T-Rex?
a T-Rex had feathers?
there's evidence, yes, that it did. It's it's in the lineage of the bird end of the theropod spectrum, and yes, most paleontologists believe that T-Rex had feathers. How elaborate or developed those feathers is up to debate, but it certainly had insulating feathers at the very least. So it had at least down, probably some contour feathers. So probably yes. And actually, feathers were actually appeared pretty early. I mean, the feathers are appearing way back in the Jurassic era, which is way before, millions and millions of years before T-Rex even walked the planet. T-Rex developed during the Cretaceous era.
During the
So,
flirtatious era.
Yeah.
Oh my.
That's awesome. That was my stupid
Yeah.
dad joke.
Yeah, and
You have to have at least one.
Yeah.
Twitch.
there's even some evidence that some of the non-theropod dinosaurs, maybe all of them, had some sort of feathers. There's evidence that some of the relatives of Triceratops had feathers.
Oh, wow.
Psittacosaurus had a fringe of feathers down its back that's been preserved, like these plumes. So feathers may have been just a very seminal, very early development of a dinosaur, those archosaurs, and probably initially because of insulation.
So
There
when
were
you-
dinosaurs that lived in cold places, for example.
Here's a question about birds then. Obviously, I mean, I've always heard that flighted birds have hollow bones, right? Like that's part of how they're able to.
Yeah.
So what about
Yes.
like flightless birds like ostrich and emu? Do they have the same? Is that? Because I think of them as more
That's a good
dinosaur-like.
question. Yeah, that's a good question because obviously they're descended from flighted birds. I know that penguins have solid bones, but that is an adaptation for swimming, like ballast. And penguins really don't fly, well, not in the air anyway. But that's a good question to ask as the ratites, that is the ostriches and the emus and cassowaries. What about them? I don't know the answer to that, but now I want to know.
I'll look it up. Let me see what I can find.
Okay.
Take this with a grain of salt, but it's coming from the California Academy of Sciences. It's the first result. The structure is hollow with an internal pattern of supportive struts, making their skeleton much lighter than animals of similar size. This is talking about an ostrich. If you,
Which is similar to other birds. Yeah.
if you cut a slice out of a bird's bone, it would look like a sponge. Since ostriches do not fly, many of their bones are like our own solid bone encasing tubes and marrow. So it sounds like maybe it's a mix.
Yeah, they're probably more solid than they are hollow, I think is what they're saying. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, it's interesting.
That is very interesting.
Well, I was just thinking about dinosaurs because, as the flightless ones didn't have hollow bones, right? So, at least not based on what I can tell when I go to the museums.
It's really interesting. Speaking of paleo reconstruction, in fact, my upcoming book that we talked a little bit about, Flying Monsters, and I think that the new title is more, it's going to be called Air Power, Drawing Flight Invertebrates. But I reconstructed a number of feathered theropods, like the Utah raptor and such. And the inclusion of feathers really changes the appearance of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look bigger because of the volume of the feathers. They look a little bit more cuddly. And it's really quite interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. Arturo's saying there's some evidence maybe that some of those dinosaurs may have had more peach fuzzy, like downy sort of stuff when they were young and then kind of shed a lot of that as they got older. Which would be interesting.
Which is similar to modern birds, right?
Right. Maximus on YouTube says, I'm working on a creature design that has a mix between a parrot and a dog. Any tips?
Well, that's interesting. I guess the first tip I would ask myself, is this creature going to be a sci-fi creature or a fantasy creature? The reason I'm asking that is you've got parrot and you've got dog, and those, even though they're vertebrate animals, they are pretty far apart, and depends upon how seamlessly you're blending those characteristics. If you're basically having a dog with parrot wings, you're going to have the realm of fantasy as opposed to science fiction. So I guess that would be the question I would ask myself, is what sort of production am I designing for? If it's fantasy, then anything goes. Anything works.
That would be more like a
But if it's
griffin or
sci-fi,
something, right?
Yeah, you can just come up
Yeah.
with anything you want.
Interesting. Have you ever done
You
any of
can
that?
do.
Oh, go ahead.
You
Sorry.
mean fantasy?
Yeah, have you ever done anything like
Uh-huh.
like griffins and those? I assume you have, but I just
Yes, I have. I have done griffins, and I've done different versions. I've done like sci-fi griffins, but I've also done more like Lewis Carroll type griffins, where it's obviously a chimera,
mm-hmm.
and a chimera is basically Frankensteining different parts of something together, different parts of different entities together, like Frankenstein. So a classic mermaid like Ariel from The Little Mermaid, she's a chimera.
Yes.
She's a girl, yeah, half girl, half fish, and there's a clear distinction between the parts. Now, mermaids that were designed more for, let's say, Pirates of the Caribbean, those are more their own discrete sci-fi, more sci-fi. It's like you think, oh, that could actually possibly exist. Actually, I'm thinking of kind of a cult following. I think it was on Netflix. Called, I think it was called Siren.
Yes.
Sirens. Now they were definitely, sci-fi mermaids and quite believable if you're going to have what could an actual mermaid look like, and they're scary. They are scary. Yeah.
Yeah, they lure you in and then drown you, right? Isn't that the,
Yeah, drown you and possibly eat you.
yeah.
Martin's wondering what movies or projects did Terrell work on after Brother Bear?
Do you want to
Oh
take
my
that?
goodness.
Yeah.
I worked on Brave.
Brave, yes, that's right.
Yeah, I worked on Brave. I've worked on a number of video games. Gosh, it starts to become a blur after a while. A lot of publishing. I worked on, one of my most recent films I worked on, I mentioned Walking with Prehistoric Beasts. Another upcoming film, animated movie is Paws Patrol.
Oh, nice.
The little dog. Yeah.
Never really.
So toy designs, I've worked on just quite a number of different things, but we're talking about like 3 decades worth of stuff.
You know, that's a
let's
good
see.
thing to bring up real
Worked
quick.
on
is-
Call of the Wild.
just real quick, because people think of you as like realistic sci-fi, that sort of thing, and I don't think a lot of people realize how much you work in the more cartoony pushed world. Like like you're just talking about Paw
Quite a
Patrol.
bit. Yeah, I worked on a little production, and I actually was able to publish some of it in Animals Real and Imagined.
Yeah.
Called Atomic Soda Pop. And there's a whole slew of crazy designs, anywhere from a realistic style to more of an almost Hanna-Barbera style.
Yeah.
All these creatures lived in the same universe, sort of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That is what made it fun. And so that was something I really enjoyed working on. Just a whole bunch of stuff. It's fun to play around with different aesthetics. That is for sure.
I'm sure as an artist, it's got to be more stimulating, right? Because you can bounce around and explore different worlds as opposed to just being stuck in the same thing all the time. It'd be like having the same food every day. Variety is the spice of life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Terrell, if people want to follow you on social media, where's the best place to follow you?
Well, Instagram probably is the best place at this point. Yeah.
Yep, I'll post a link to
it's-
that.
Yeah, Terryl Whitlatch, just my name, and that I'll pop up. I've not post. I didn't post for about a year and a half because I was working on NDA stuff and I couldn't post. That's kind of the catch-22 working on things that you can't,
Yeah.
that are like these high-profile things that you can't talk about because you can't post anything, and your whole world and time is spent working on that, but you can't post anything, and people think that you've dropped off the planet, which isn't true. But yeah, so there's some new things there that I posted. There's like a bunch of horse sketches. And I have a question. This is a technical magma question. I just created another layer, but I can't seem to. How do I pull up my? I run out of space at the bottom to be able to scroll down. Anybody know?
Oh, yeah, I don't know, because I was, where are the layers here? There's the little,
There's a little gray bar.
there's a little gray bar on the right side of the layer that you can scroll up and down with.
Yeah, I am touching that little gray bar with my little cursor here. Oh, wait. Lo and behold, thank you. I didn't touch it in the right place. Okay, let's see. Let me figure out what layer I'm on here.
Yeah, for people who don't know, they're drawing off of a website called Magma, which actually, I believe, Bobby from Schoolism was one of the founders of Magma, right? He's part of
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just magma.com. It's a lot of fun if you have friends that are artists. It's a cool way to get together and
Yeah, and just draw together like we're doing today.
We've been going about 2 hours and 20, an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, you want to kind of wrap it up? And
Okay, sure.
But I want to thank well, first of all, I want to thank
She's
Terryl.
like, I just started a new layer. What are you talking about?
I'm just getting started.
But well, let's say it's another 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
and
Yeah,
then-
I'm looking for my layer.
Oh, there you go.
I will find it.
But if
Let's see.
anyone wants to
Where am
ask
I?
anything,
Here.
ask anything here in the next 10 minutes. I still need to pack. I still need to pack for Colorado.
What is Terrell's favorite animal, or maybe top 3?
Well, I love horses.
I was just going to say,
That's my
I know you're a
favorite
horse
animal.
person.
My first favorite animal. My second favorite animal. Well, let's see. I like a very interesting antelope called the black wildebeest. It's a smaller, it's about the size of a Shetland pony. It's smaller, and it's dark brown with a white tail, and it's so much fun to watch. And it's such a funny, bizarre antelope. And I guess my third favorite creature to draw is the fossa at Madagascar.
The long tail.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so interesting. It's like the equivalent of, it's Madagascar's answer to the puma.
Yeah.
But
It's funny. I was just going
it's a
through
great
some of my.
climber.
I was just going through some of my animal sketches right before this talk, and I was looking at some sketches that I did of a fossa.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did those at the.
They are
I
really
think I
neat.
did those at the Chester Zoo in Manchester, or the Chester Zoo in Chester,
Oh.
England. Yeah.
Which is a great zoo, by the way. Shout
Yeah.
out for the Chester Zoo. We've been there a couple times. It's a great place. If you ever find yourself in that neck of the woods, Terryl, it's worth checking out.
Okay.
Well, with that, I think I want to just thank you, Terryl, for sketching with me. It's been an honor to be able to do this with you. It's really cool. And and I want to remind everyone too.
Mine.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I want to remind everyone too that the 27th, Terrell's going to be on for 2 days talking about prehistoric beasts and her approach and doing demos, and and you can still sign up for that over at creatureartteacher.com/live, right?
Yeah, creatureartteacher.com/live. Spots are limited and they're going quick. So if you want to sign up for 2 days of drawing, By the way, if you can't watch live, you do get a recording, but you have to register first. So you have to sign up. We don't sell it after the fact.
Yeah, that's one thing. We want to make sure that people that sign up, it's exclusive for the folks that sign up for it. So, yeah, make sure you sign up for it if you want to watch it later. And also, we've still got 2 spots left for my boot camp in November. And
Here in sunny Orlando.
Yeah. And otherwise, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. Well, actually, it'll be 2 weeks from now that we do our next stream, because I'm going to be in Colorado all next week teaching animal drawing.
At the New Masters Village.
New Masters Village in southwest Colorado, in Mancos, Colorado, which is just outside of Durango, right near Four Corners. So that's a part of the country I've never been to, so I'm excited about that. And but anyway, thanks, Terryl. It was a really fun day today.
Oh, I had a lovely time, and it was so much fun visiting with both you and Nick and our audience, and I'm so excited, and I am glad to be having some good practice on the Magma app, and it's been so fun, so fun. And
the fact that, now that you're with us, the fact that we can do this from time to time, I'm really excited about. And so I hope that we get to do this again soon.
Yeah, speaking of which, just as a reminder, Terryl is doing this 2-day workshop with us, but she's also going to be doing courses with us. We've got a bunch of fun stuff in the works, so stay tuned. And if you want to go see, we've got over 850 hours of courses at creatureartteacher.com. This weekend, they're all buy one, get one, 50% off. So that's any single course, brush set, photo pack. We've got artist reference photo packs by Dustin. Dustin has a wildlife photography course. We've got courses from David Coleman, who's a wonderful animal artist and character designer. We've got storyboarding courses. We've got story development courses, digital media, traditional media. So go to creatureartteacher.com. Check those out. We've also got some original drawings up by Aaron. Go to creatureartteacher.com/originals to grab those. And we will be back here in 2 weeks. Anything else you want to say, Aaron, before we wrap up?
Just another thank you, Terryl, and thanks for everybody tuning in. And I always love doing this, so we'll be back again in a couple of weeks. So thank you. Thank you, Terryl.
See you later.
We're going to sign off.
You're welcome.
All right, everybody, go out there, and as Aaron would say,
going out there, put some beauty back into the world, and we will talk to you next time.
Cowboy Bebop.